Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the second video for the constructor in C++. This video includes destructor in C++, this constructor overloading, constructor overloading example, this keyword, and also it includes hands-on example. So let's see this destructor. Destructor is a special class function which destroys the objects as soon as the scope of the object ends. The destructor is called automatically by the compiler when the object goes out of the scope. So that means why the destructor will be used? The memory which is allocated. The memory which is allocated during the constructor creation, the same memory will be destroyed. So that memory will be destroyed by using the destructors. So we need to create the destructors. We need to call the destructors for the memory deallocation. Now whenever we call the destructors, the name of the destructor must be same as the name of the constructor. The only difference is that the destructor will have this symbol, tilde symbol, as a prefix. So you can see here while we are declaring the constructor class A, and then it will be declared in the public section, and here the name of the destructor, but it will have a prefix as tilde. These are the rules for the destructors. Destructor is a type of special member function of a class. Why it is called a special type of member function? Why? Because the name of the class as well as the name of the destructor both are same. It is used to destroy the memory allocated by the constructor. It has the same name as a class prefixed with the tilde symbol. So while we are destroying the memory, while we are creating the destructor, it will have a same name, but it will have a tilde symbol. Destructor does not take any argument and cannot return or accept any value. So like constructors, destructor will not take any arguments. It is called automatically by the compiler when the object goes out of the scope. And the compiler calls the destructor implicitly when the program execution exited. So these are the rules of the destructor. Now you can see the different other rules. It can be overloaded, it cannot be overloaded, it can take no arguments. So destructors cannot be taking any arguments and they don't return a value. So destructors is invoked automatically when the object goes out from the scope of the class. This is the example for the destructor. Now when we create any destructor, right? So destructor will be called only when the constructor is created. Here the name of the class is A. We create the constructor A, and also we are creating the destructor A. So as soon as we create the constructor, we have to create the destructor for destroying the memory. So here this the constructor and this is the destructor. And within the main function we need to create the objects, and the object will be used to call the destructor and for destroying the memory. And the example as we have taken in the previous video, the name of the class is here student. The variables which is declared this roll number, name as well as the marks. And now we'll create a constructor and we'll assign the values. We'll initialize the values. So roll number here 4, name as well as the marks. And we'll take another member function to display the values roll number, name as well as the marks. And now we'll create the destructor for destroying these values which is allocated during the constructor. Okay, so here when we call the destructor, it will not print anything, it will just print that this is the end of the program. Within the main function, we'll create the object of the constructor and simply we'll call this member function to display the values first time. Now the next topic is constructor overloading. See this topic based on this polymorphism, because in the polymorphism the behavior, or you can say the definition of polymorphism, that ability to take more than one form means what? One function can take a different form. One function can take different form depending on the behavior. For example, if you are having number of parameters, for example, I will take the addition of two numbers, or the addition of three numbers, or addition of four numbers, but will declare a function name as addition only. So constructor can be overloaded in a similar way as we are doing the function overloading. Overloaded constructors must have the same name but different number of arguments. And depending on the number and the type of arguments passed, specific constructor is called. Since there are multiple constructors present, then the constructor should also be passed while creating an object. This is the example, this is the syntax for a constructor. Here the name of the class, then we'll have a access modifier, will create a member variable as well as the member functions. Now within the public section, we'll create a different constructors but having a different number of parameters. Here this constructor name without parameter. Again the another constructor name but with the parameters. So we can have a same constructor with the same function but having a different parameters. Is what it is called as constructor overloading. Now you can see the example here. The name of the class is here student. Within the public section, we'll be declaring here the roll number as well as the name. And now we are creating a constructor having one parameter only. This is the first constructor. And here I will be initializing that roll number as x because having only one parameter. And the name is equal to null. Second constructor will create here the student but having two parameters. So both the variables are initialized for these two parameters. So roll number is equal to x and name is equal to str. And in the main function, we'll call both the constructors. We'll create objects for both the constructor for calling the parameters, for passing the parameters. So here A having one parameter, here the object B having two parameters. So this is the example for this constructor overloading. This is the first example. Now you can see another example also. We can have variable a class name as ABC. We are creating a variable that x and y, and within the public section we'll have a constructor with no parameter, with no arguments, you can say. So we are initializing that the value of x and y is equal to 0. In the second constructor we'll have only one parameter. So both the variables are initialized as parameter a. And the third constructor having two parameters, so it will be initialized with two arguments, two parameters, so that x equal to a and y is equal to b. And within this member function we are declaring another member function y display for displaying the values, right? So here the first member function without parameter, second constructor with one parameter, and the third constructor with two parameters. And all the objects will be called by using the member function. So cc1.display, cc2.display, and cc3.display. So this is the second example for the constructor overloading. Now we'll be moving to this keyword. This topic is based on the constructor. It is a part of the constructor. So see the exact definition. This keyword refers to the current instance of the class. And there are three main uses of this keyword. First, it can be used to pass current object as a parameter to another method. It can be used to refer current class instance variable. It can be used to declare the indexes. So these are the three different uses of this keyword. It is used to pass the current object as a parameter to the another object. It can be used to refer current class instance variable. It can be used to declare the instances. Now see the example of this keyword. First two lines are the header file here. We'll create the class as employee, and within the public section I'll be declaring three variables here: int id, string name, as well as the salary. And one more thing, why this keyword is used. The most important thing is why to use this. It can be passed to it can be used to pass current object as a parameter to another method, and it can be used to refer current class instance variable. Now you can see the program. The variables are here id, name, as well as the salary, and the parameters are also here id, name, and as well as the salary. When we are declaring the parameters, when we are declaring the instance of the constructor, if both are same, then only we use this keyword. For example, here the variable name is id and the first parameter is a, for example. Second variable is name and the second parameter is here, for example, b. Third variable is here salary, but the third parameter is here c. In that case, we don't require this keyword. To initialize the current class member variable and current constructor variables, we require this keyword. If both are same, then only we can use this keyword. So here id, here is also id. Here the name of variable name is name, parameter is name. Here the variable is salary and the parameter is also salary. Then only we are using this keyword. Otherwise, if both are different, then we don't require this keyword. And how to use this, how to initialize this? This id is equal to id, this name is equal to name, and this salary is equal to salary. This is the way how we are initializing current class instance variable. Current class instance variable. And other things are common, that id, name, and salary we are printing. And within the main function, we are creating two objects here, e1 and e2, which is used to pass the variable. So 101, 102 as an id, that name, Amit and Nakul, and the salary is here 12,000 and 15,000. And both will be used to display the value here, e1.display and e2.display. So this is all about your constructor overloading, destructor, and this keyword. Now we'll see one hands-on example for the constructor. For example, I'll be creating here as include io stream.h. Okay, so header file, then for new.h we'll create the class as a student. Okay, and now we'll declare that member variables in the public section. Int roll number, then character name, for example, and int marks. So these are the member variables. Now I'll be creating a constructor. As you know, the name of the class is here what? This is the name of the class as a student. And while we're creating the constructor, the name of the constructor must be same as the name of the class. So what we'll do here, we'll write a student as a constructor. One more thing, constructor do not require any return type. For example, if you create any member function, you write this here void student. This is what, this is a member function. But if you are creating any constructor, then constructor do not have a return type, right? So it will not have a void either the int. Now we'll initialize these variables. And see, this is an example for the default constructor. This is example for the default constructor. So there are three member variables. So we'll initialize all the three variables here within the constructor. Roll number is equal to, for example, 101. Second is name. Okay, I'll be writing here 7. And marks. Example. So it is 85. Now this is the end of this constructor definition. Now we'll take one member function to display the values. Void display, and we'll write the statement roll number is we'll display the values here. So roll number, this is roll number. Okay, then see out. Second line is name each. Second variable is your name, and the third one is marks. Now this is the end of this member function. Now this is the open bracket of member function, close of the closing bracket of member function. This is the constructor opening bracket and that constructor closing bracket, and this is the class opening bracket. So now we'll close this class here. We'll close this class and we'll put this semicolon. Now we'll come to the main function. So within the main function, what I will do, we'll create the object of this. So student object is declared as s and s dot display. And we write gets each as a function. And use. Now you can check this program, right? So this is the name of the class. Within the public section, there are three variables. All the three variables are initialized here. Then the main member function, which is used to display the values, and in the main function we are simply displaying the values here. Now I can run the program. See this error. example, I'll be writing here subject ID. Okay, main function. Now you can see here this the roll number is subject ID is as well as 120 there, and the marks is also given. So this is a simple example for this constructor. This is the default constructor which will not take any parameter. I can also modify this same program if you are taking any parameterized constructor. Right. What I can do, I will write here int a, int b, and int c. See, for example, if you are talking about the parameters, if there are three parameters, then you need to declare the three variables. Then you have to declare three parameters, right? And this parameter will be assigned to the variables. This is the definition part. This is the only change when you're talking about the parameterized constructors, right? So the variable roll number is equal to will be assigned to the first parameter, the second variable will be assigned to the second parameter, and the third variable will be assigned to the third parameter. This is the only change in this constructor, right? So in default constructor we don't have any parameters, and what we'll do, we'll assign some values, we initialize some values. But if you are creating a parameterized constructor, so parameters will be initialized to the variables, it will be assigned to the variables, and within the main function what we'll do, we have to pass the values. For example, I'll be passing a 101, right? Student subject ID, for example, 234, and the marks is, for example, 9. Okay, and when you run the program you will see this. Wow, this is so same program we can write for the default constructor as well as the constructors, default this parameters constructors. Okay, so this was okay. Now that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, kindly subscribe and share with others. Thank you.